This is Revelation chapter 9, verse 1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. I like to say all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone. Honor to all the brethren out here doing the work in the will of the Father, in truth and sincerity. This is Revelation chapter 9, verse 1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and then smoke arose out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And what is this bottomless pit? Europe, man. That's what the bottomless pit is, man. All right, the landmass of Europe. Verse 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. And what is this locust that this verse is speaking of? It's talking about the fighter planes back in World War I, man. Okay, this is the locust. This is the flying locust that has the power of a scorpion. Okay, and it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And that's exactly what happened to the men of World War I. All right, when those pilots of those fighter planes, they would shoot with the machine gun, and those bullets would tear through their flesh, but yet they would not die. But they would what? They would be tormented for 5 months, man. Why? Because of the sting from the bullets of the machine gun that was strapped onto the fighter planes back then, which were what? In the shape of a locust, man. This is what John saw, man. Okay, he saw World War I. That's what he saw, World War I. And it came out of what? Out of the bottomless pit, man, out of Europe, man. Verse 6. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Exactly. Because who knows where them bullets was hitting, man, when them bullets was coming and flying out of those locusts, aka those fighter planes, man. All right. Some of the men limbs was getting torn off, man. And they was seeking death but couldn't find it, man. All right, that was bandaged up, no limb taken off. All right, eye may be taken out, but they were still alive, man. Desiring death, man, but can't get it, man. Verse 7. And the shapes of locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were crowns like gold, and their face was the face of men. Exactly, man. And this is what you had back then in World War I, especially when you're dealing with the Germans. And the Germans were known for their fighter pilots, man. All right, you had what? Fighter pilots such as the Red Baron. This man was out there destroying everybody with the locust, man. With the sting of the scorpion, man, which is the machine gun, man. All right. And those Kaisers, that's what they wore, man. They wore those helmets of gold. All right, with the hair on top of it, and I'm gonna put all these things in when I edit this video, man. All right, this is what Revelation 9 is talking about, man. And they ain't talking about some BS, some bullshit that ISUPK is talking about, man. Man, hey, listen, man. If you still following ISUPK, man, you deserve what you get, man. All right, you deserve the folly, you deserve the damn deceits, the fairy tales that you get, man. It's that simple, man. All right, because the truth of the matter in Revelation chapter 9 is talking about World War I, man. And as the scripture go, it's 2 more woes after that, man, which was what? World War II, and then you have World War III, man, which is what we're coming up upon, man, in our life, man. And in those days, starting back at verse 6, and in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shape of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as if it was crowns of gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. Exactly, man, because it was men in those fighter jets, man. Well, not even fighter jets, they were fighter planes back then. So it was men, the pilots, such as the Red Baron, which was the most known fighter pilot. All right, this is how they had faces of men, because they were men that was inside those locusts, flying them, man. Which those locusts are what? The fighter planes, man. And those Kaisers, those Germans, Prussia, all right, Germany or Prussia, whatever, however you want to call it, which the king of Prussia back then was who? William Kaiser, man, the second. He was the one that started World War I, man. As you will see when I edit the video, I will put his face up in there. I will put the face of their helmets that they wore. How it was a gold helmet, and as verse 8 say, and they had hair as the hair of women. You gonna see how they had the long hair on top of their helmets, man. And their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle, man. And that's exactly how those damn fighter planes sounded, man. All right, when they flying, man. That's exactly how they sound, man. The sound of their wings was the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle, man. When those planes crunk up, like that's how they sound, man. And they had tails like a scorpions, and there was stings in their tails, which is what? The ammo. All right, what are the tails? The machine guns. And what's that sting? The ammo that fly out the machine gun. And the power was to hurt men 5 months, man. All right, and when them bullets hit you, hey, took up to 5 months or more to recover, man. And they had a king over them. And who was this king over them? Who was the king that started this war? Who was the king that was over them? Matter of fact, the one of the last kings. If I'm not mistaken, he was the last king, in which he was the king of Prussia, aka the king of Germany, which is who? William Kaiser, or Kaiser William II, however you want to label it, man. That's that king, man. Which is the angel of the bottomless pit, which he was what? A messenger of the bottomless pit of Europe, man. Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue have his name Apollyon. One woe is past. See, one world war is past, and behold, there come 2 more woes more hereafter, man. Meaning 2 more world wars hereafter, man. So when you reading this, in verse 11, that king, that's the king of Prussia, man, the king of Germany, Kaiser William II, man. That's who that was, man. He's the one that came out of the bottomless pit, out of Europe, that caused World War I, man. This is what the scripture, this is what Revelation 9, 1 through 11 is talking about. It's talking about World War I, man. All right, when you're reading about the locusts, it's talking about the airplanes, the fighter planes, man. The Scorpion, talking about the Scorpion with the sting. That's talking about the machine gun and the ammo that flies out the machine gun to hit the men of war, man. This is what it's talking about, man. And like I said, I'm gonna put all this, everything when I edit the video, man. This is what Revelation chapter 9, verse 1 is speaking of, man, through 10. Okay? Well, through 11. Well, might as well say through 12, 1 through 12, man. This is all speaking about this is all speaking about World War I, man. This is what John saw, man. All right. So this is how it was broken down the correct way, man, by our elders at Great Millstone. And this is history, man. You can research, man. Hell, you gonna see it. I'm gonna put it in here, man. See, this ain't just some vain talk that we do at Great Millstone, man. This is done by research, man, and facts, man. The truth, man, that the Most High put the spirit through Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, man. We got the spirit on Great Millstone, man, to know these truths, man. While these other clowns out here faking it, man. Point blank, period, man. They out here faking it, man. So all praises to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the others at Great Millstone. Honor to all the brethren out here doing the work in the will of the Father in truth and sincerity. This is the correct breakdown of Revelation chapter 9, which is talking about World War I. Shalom.
Manfred von Richthofen was ready. A month after the death of his hero Bolka, Richthofen confronted the British ace Major Lano Hawker, who with 9 victories was the first recipient of the Victoria Cross for air fighting. The duel began at 10,000 feet.
I was soon keenly aware that I was not dealing with a beginner, for he did not even dream of breaking off the fight. To be sure, he had a very maneuverable crate, but mine climbed better, and so I succeeded in getting above and behind the Englishman, Manfred von Richthofen.
Richthofen's machine guns jammed as he closed in. Flying his plane with one hand, he banged on the guns with a small hammer until at last they cleared, and he was able to fire a burst, killing Hawker just 150 feet above the ground.
Von Richthofen was a success because he was a very intelligent hunter. He knew how to make an attack, and of course he had great confidence, which is half the battle. He would go in expecting to be triumphant, and he usually was.
In January 1917, with 16 victories to his credit, Lieutenant von Richthofen was given command of his own fighter squadron, Jagdstaffel 11. Though it pained him personally to leave the comrades of Bolka's old squadron, he recognized the opportunities such an advancement presented. 2 days after receiving orders to Jasta 11, a telegram from headquarters informed Richthofen that Kaiser Wilhelm had awarded him the achievement he had sought so aggressively, the Pour le Mérite, or Blue Max. It was 1 year to the day since the same honor had gone to Bolka.
When Imperial Germany came to honoring its first 2 highly successful fighter pilots with a decoration that has become popularly known as the Blue Max, they gave it to 2 pilots who had shot down 8 aircraft apiece. One of those pilots was Oswald Brodke, who was Richthofen's mentor and role model. A year to the day later, when Manfred von Richthofen received this same award, he had shot down 16 airplanes. The ante had gone up. By the end of the war, he had to shoot down 30 airplanes to get the Blue Max.
When Richthofen arrived at Jasta 11's airfield at La Bréelle, he was Germany's highest scoring ace. As a leader, he planned to take up where the great Bolka had left off, surrounding himself with the men he thought had the greatest potential for success. Then, with stern and patient guidance, he would mold his team into an efficient and deadly fighting force. In March 1917, Lothar von Richthofen, who had soloed for the first time a month before, joined Manfred's squadron, eager to make a name for himself independent of his famous brother.
You couldn't have 2 brothers that were more different. Richthofen was very reserved, very cool, very standoffish. He was also about 5'5". His brother Lothar was 6 feet tall, an extrovert, and one of the most popular people in the squadron. The only connection they really had was the competitiveness or the sibling rivalry that sometimes exists between 2 brothers. We doubt whether Manfred ever really had a girlfriend. We don't ever doubt whether Lothar had a girlfriend. He had lots of them.
Richthofen was unequaled as an instructor. Every young pilot who came to his staffel had to fly a few times to the front alone with Richthofen. After the flight, the details of what the beginner had seen and experienced were discussed thoroughly. Lieutenant Friedrich Wilhelm Lubbert.
Almost on a whim, the legend of the Red Baron is born.
For whatever reasons, one fine day I came upon the idea of having my crate painted glaring red. The result was that absolutely everyone could not help but notice my red bird. In fact, my opponents also seemed to be not entirely unaware of it. Memoirs, Manfred von Richthofen.
So he painted his plane red. This is a pretty audacious thing for somebody to do. I mean, this guy really had balls, and that's no better word.
It had become known that the British had put a price on my brother's head. Every flyer on the other side knew him, for at the time he alone flew a red-painted aeroplane. For that reason, it had long been our wish to have all aeroplanes of our Staffel painted red, and we implored my brother to allow it so he would not be so especially conspicuous. Lothar von Richthofen.
And Richthofen said, no, mine will be all red, yours will have to have some other color. So Lothar painted his red with yellow, Schaefer painted his red with black, Allmenröder painted his red with white, Wolfe painted his red with green and so forth.
The red color signified a certain insolence. Everyone knew that. It attracted attention. Consequently, one had to really perform. Lothar von Richthofen.
April 1917. Bloody April. In the course of one violent month, the British Flying Corps had 1/3 of its active planes shot down. Richthofen himself accounted for 21 of them. By the last day of April, newly promoted Captain Manfred von Richthofen had 52 confirmed enemy kills, 12 more than his hero Bolka. Headquarters ordered him to go on leave. Manfred turned the reins of Jasta 11 over to Lothar and prepared for a triumphant return home. The Kaiser wanted to meet him. On the day he lunched with the Kaiser, May 2nd, 1917, Germany's ace of aces celebrated his 25th birthday. The young ace had captured the imagination of a nation. In his spare moments, Richthofen began to dictate his memoirs to a stenographer. The finished book, The Red Battle Flyer, was an immediate bestseller.